Barry Eichengreen of Berkeley. Good morning, Barry.
Good morning, Tom.
Now, a bit of a delay there. We'll work with that, but important to have you here. We see the G20 finance ministers, then we go to Pittsburgh, then we go to Istanbul. Is there any value to the sequence of these autumn events? What is the good that will come out of this for our viewers, for our listeners?
Well, I think there's a danger that the sense of urgency that we had toward the beginning of the year about strengthening the financial system and getting our economies going again will be lost. So to get our leaders together in London, in Pittsburgh, and then in Istanbul hopefully will allow us to regain the momentum that we've lost in terms of reforming the financial system and getting economic growth going again on a sustained basis. They need to meet. They need to talk, and a meeting of the minds, I think, will help.
Well, that is one of the thrusts of the meeting, and of some bankers around the world, is reforming the regulatory system. Of course, here in this country, we had a report from the Inspector General of the Securities Exchange Commission the other day about how they completely fluffed the Bernard Madoff investigation. Madoff himself admitted he thought they had him 2.5 years before he was finally shut down. So what's to guarantee that more regulation is really going to make any difference?
Well, there is no guarantee. I think it's always a bloodhounds and greyhounds problem. The private market participants are the greyhounds, and they run very fast. Part of the problem is that we have put the bloodhounds on a starvation diet. We need experienced regulators that are properly compensated, and for the last 10 years there has been an ideology that we don't need regulation, and I think we have not provided the regulatory agencies with the leadership they need, but also with well-trained, properly compensated rank and file that they need.
Okay, does that mean regulators should be paid more at a time when there are calls for bankers to be paid less?
Well, it would appear there is a very large imbalance between the compensation of the regulators and the regulated. I don't think there's any inconsistency between arguing that we need reform of compensation practices and packages within private financial institutions and the idea that we need to pay regulators adequately in order to attract experienced, capable people into that activity. Regulation is really a thankless task. They get blamed when things go wrong and we discover the Madoffs of the world. Nobody is out there singing their praises when they do well.
With us, Barry Eichengreen of Berkeley. Coming up, folks, I want to talk to Professor Eichengreen with Ken about gold, his classic book from too many years ago, Golden Fetters. We will talk to Barry Eichengreen about the recent run-up in gold. I also want to talk to Professor Eichengreen about his view on global trade. To be polite, it is controversial. He really looks at a depression in global trade. Does he see a sign of recovery here with the recent modestly better statistics? All this with the Dow up 26, Citigroup $4.85, really nowhere this week. NYMEX crude $67 a barrel, gold $992 the ounce. More with Barry Eichengreen. It's Bloomberg Surveillance. We're with Barry Eichengreen of the University of California at Berkeley. Barry, I want to talk first about trade. Your note stunned me from a number of months ago about this depression in global trade. You've got a new update. What is the new of your caution on the entire world's trade?
Well, I think the most startling aspect of the last 12 months of crisis has been the collapse of world trade, even faster than the collapse of global production, even faster than the collapse of world trade between 1929 and 1930. So globally, it's reassuring that that downward spiral has stopped for the time being. It looks like global trade has bottomed out, and the most recent month of data suggests that it's beginning to recover, if slowly, on the back of China Japan, and Korea in particular.
Does that come back when the global economy picks up?
It's a function of the Asian economies picking up. So I think we will only see a durable, sustained recovery in world trade if it really is the case that Europe and the U.S. are joining the Asian economies in now beginning to recover. And whether that's the case or not, time will tell.
Well, you're a noted expert on gold, author of a book called Gold in Fetters, which is Fetters. I wanted your thoughts on this run we had almost to $1,000 again, only to see gold fall back again.
Well, it's fair to say maybe that I'm an expert on the history of gold. I'm not very bullish. I haven't been bullish on gold recently. I've been wrong before, and I may be wrong again. I'm at least consistent in my views. So I think gold has responded to fears of inflation, where there's the possibility that the markets have gotten out ahead of themselves. Gold responds to high commodity prices more generally, and if the right reading of what's going on in China now is that the economy there may slow down a bit, we may see some weakening of commodity prices, and that will take its toll on gold in addition.
Barry, just 1 minute left here. Sorry for that. Minister Lagarde of France out in Le Figaro this morning on limiting bonuses for executives, a serious effort by by France. In your reading of economic history, does limiting compensation work?
Well, I think it may have some modest effect where investment bankers previously have faced a kind of heads I win, tails you lose set of incentives. The important reforms will be of capital adequacy and so forth in the banks themselves. So I think Secretary Geithner's statement of principles yesterday was a step in the right direction. The executive compensation stuff, I think, is second order, much less important than fixing the capital adequacy regime.
Professor Eichengreen, good to see you again. Safe travels in London for the finance ministers meeting.